got TJ Watt of the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers have 28 sacks on defense. He has 11 and a half of those today going against Jake Brown and the Bengals, making his first start. Look out.
There's Baker Mayfield and Tampa Bay Bucks. They're playing in Indianapolis. Don't worry. Baker Mayfield on the road this year, 10 touchdowns and only 2 interceptions.
And there's Trevor Lawrence facing the Texans in Houston with the AFC South on the line. Today is a perfect time to shine.
And how about C.J. Stroud, guys? He has the 4th most passing yards through 10 games in NFL history. His team has won 3 in a row, 6 of their last 8.
And hello, folks, and welcome to the NFL Today presented by Jeep. I'm James Brown, back here in Studio 43, tapping in with my colleagues, which includes Nate doing the honor.
That's right. We have Boomer Esiason, the most famous Norwegian this side of the Atlantic. He is the 1988 MVP, 95 NFL Man of the Year, and he's still the man. If you don't know, just ask him. I am, of course, the resident wide receiver, Nate B., but around here they call me James Brown Jr. Let's move it along. We have Coach Cowher. Now, Coach Cowher is a man that keeps it real with a chin chiseled out of steel. Pro Football Hall of Famer. He was in the movie Dark Knight Rises, which is ironic because he turns into a villain when it comes to our picks on a weekly basis. We have James Brown, yes, Sportscasting Hall of Famer, and also Harvard Basketball Hall of Famer. Affectionately, we look at him as Uncle JB, but I call him Big Chocolate. And we have Phil Simms, 2-time Super Bowl winner, Super Bowl 21 MVP, straight out of Kentucky, the arm from the farm, with a little bit of Southern charm.
I like it. Hey, Drew Kaliski, see what you have started. Week 12 brings a solid lineup of games highlighted by some teams in the midst of the playoff chase and others going through some recent coordinator changes.
Yeah, JB, I think when you look at the fact that when results don't meet expectations, you have to have change. You have change sometimes in what you're doing, change in how you're doing it, and then ultimately it becomes change with who you're doing it with. I'm talking about players and coaches. And the first criteria is, what are my options? Now, we saw Las Vegas make a change in their head coach. Immediate results. They win 2 in a row. You talk about change as a offensive coordinator in Buffalo. Immediate results. We saw the Jets change quarterbacks. Nothing yet. This week, Pittsburgh Steelers make a change as an offensive coordinator. Washington makes a change as a defensive coordinator. The bottom line is this. You have 7 weeks left. September and October, it's about patience. November and December, it's about a sense of urgency. When you have a change, message sent to everyone.
Well said, Bill. I'll just say next week when I do the introductions, I'm not going to be near that nice. Okay, so let's just get that. 4 teams that have something in common: the Miami Dolphins, the Minnesota Vikings, Houston, and Dallas. What do they have in common? They're all good passing teams. But the other thing they have in common is they do get under the center with some of the runs. And why did they do that? To set up their play action game. When you do that for the quarterback, it spreads the field, it slows down the pass rush, and it gives the quarterback a lot of rhythm to make those dynamic throws down the field.
Yeah, we have a big-time game at 4:25. That's the Bills, the Eagles. The Bills have stumbled their way through the season. The Eagles, they're sitting pretty at 9-1. And I have a conversation with A.J. Brown, star wide receiver for the Eagles, coming up in just a bit, and they are not taking this team lightly.
You talk about a huge game. How about the Jags at the Texans? This, the winner is going to be the leader in the AFC South. But for the Jaguars, led by Trevor Lawrence, he's 1-4 against the Texans. All 4 losses came when his team was favored, as they are today. If they win after the 1 o'clock window, they would be the #1 seed in the AFC, depending on what happens later on with Kansas City and Baltimore.
All right, Boomer, and as you mentioned, a big AFC South matchup today in Houston, where the Jags and Texans will face off in a game that could go a long way in helping decide the winner of the division. And joining us now live, yes.
It's a tight race in our division.
They're a really good team. It's hard to beat a team twice, so we got to be on our A game.
I mean, there's a ton of teams that are kind of in the hunt, so this is huge.
Jacksonville pouring it on. C.J. Stroud leading the way. Incredible.
So I guess I was excited about getting to the handsome pair that's down there calling the game, joining us live from Houston. They will be calling the action, the battle between the Jags and the Texans, the dynamic duo, Tiki Barber and Matt Ryan. Hey, fellas, we've got two of the best young quarterbacks in the game going head-to-head in Trevor Lawrence and C.J. Stroud.
Yeah, thank you, JB. We're excited to watch this one today. It's going to be a great matchup of two young quarterbacks. C.J. Stroud's been unbelievable. To me, watching him in the first 10 games of his rookie year, his ability to throw the football over the middle, unreal. But I've liked what he's been able to do, extending the pocket, getting outside, and then throwing deep to his man, Tank Dell.
Yeah, Tank Dell, as another rookie, they have a great combination already. He makes so many great moves after the catch, but he also has the ability to just separate and make great catches when they really matter. And on the other side of this game, Jacksonville's got a young quarterback who's kind of going into his second year. Really, it's third year, but it feels like the second one.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence. I mean, you said it, third year, but I really throw that first year out. Second year with Doug Peterson. He's growing. He's learning how to win football games. He's also learning how to play from in front, both in games and in division. And I think, to me, I feel like he's finally got a vertical threat, which fits his game. He's got power down the field. Calvin Ridley's impressive.
That's your guy, though. You groomed him down in Atlanta. But you can't talk about this Jacksonville team without talking about Trevor's college teammate, Travis Etienne, who is so dynamic. He's second in all-purpose yards in the NFL right now. He's their big play threat. Calvin needs to become more of that for this team. But Travis Etienne, he's the guy right now.
Yeah, I think you said it too. Doug Peterson talked to us about being the ball control offense, and it all starts with the run game for them. I expect a steady diet of Travis Etienne today and play action pass afterwards. Thanks, JB. Back to you guys.
Hey, fellas, thank you so much. Our best to you, Andrew, and AJ on the call today. Knock 'em alive. All right, folks, as we move one step closer to Super Bowl 58, that in Vegas, here are the headlines for Week 12. In a key AFC North matchup, Jake Browning makes his first NFL start. That in place of Joe Burrow, where the Bengals host Kenny Pickett and the Steelers. In Indianapolis, two squads in the playoff chase take the field as Gardner Minshew and the Colts looking for their third win in a row as Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers come to town. And both games in our 425 window, major postseason implications. The Chiefs looking to get back on track against the Raiders, while the Bills and Eagles face off in Philly.
The NFL Today on CBS is presented by Jeep. There's only one.
Folks, get ready for the glitz and glam of Las Vegas. Join us on February the 11th. That's when the bright lights meet the biggest stars in the entertainment capital of the world. Super Bowl 58 only on CBS.
That offense was just flat out offensive.
They can't do anything offensively.
Pickett's going to take a chance. It is picked.
Winning like how we did is not going to get us nowhere.
Kenny Pickett gets drilled.
Oh, that's disappointing. It sure is.
Breaking news this morning, the Steelers firing their offensive coordinator, Matt Canada.
I want to engineer victory more fluidly, and points do that. It's a great opportunity to turn this thing around. We're not urinating on the fire, man. We're getting ready to play a football game and win this week.
And I am blessed to be joined by the man with his eye on the league and his finger on the pulse of the NFL. That will be our NFL Today insider, Jonathan Jones. Some big changes in Pittsburgh. What's the deal?
That's right. Mike Tomlin fired offensive coordinator Matt Canada on Tuesday, and it was the first time there's been a major in-season coaching change in Pittsburgh since 1941. Tomlin is doing something unique. He made Eddie Faulkner the interim offensive coordinator and Mike Sullivan the play caller. Now, players love Faulkner for his no-nonsense approach, and Sullivan always works with Kenny Pickett, so he'll continue to be with the quarterback. The two coaches collaborated on the game plan all week, worked together on the opening script, but it'll be Sullivan calling the plays. We'll see if there's more Jalen Warren running the ball today as well.
Changes in Washington.
That is correct. And Commanders head coach Ron Rivera, he fired defensive coordinator Jack Del Rio on Friday. And one more loss guarantees a losing season in Washington. But I'm told Rivera will very likely be there through the end of the season. He's earned the right, one source told me. Now, new owner Josh Harris will likely have a coaching search after the season. And because Rivera is the chief football decision maker, it's possible Washington will have a general manager search as well. Washington has a healthy salary cap, good draft picks. They may have the quarterback, and they have a competent ownership group. They'll be some of the most attractive jobs in the NFL.
Still a lot of discussion about the future of Justin Fields in Chicago.
Yeah, that's right, JB. So Justin Fields and the Bears, they have 6 games left, including Monday night's game against the Vikings. And it's truly an evaluation period for the quarterback. Right now, there are great odds the Bears land the top pick in the draft via Carolina, and Caleb Williams is viewed around the league as a generational talent. Now, Fields has had an up-and-down season, but he's shown some strong flashes this season. Plenty of year left to evaluate, but it could be a big offseason of change in Chicago that general manager Ryan Poles will have to navigate.
The name that you prefer other than Big Chocolate is?
Papa Chocolate. I like that
I think the grandkids will like that, too.
Papa Chocolate.
Thank you very much. That's the man, Jonathan, for sure. All right, boom, over to you.
Thanks, Papa Chocolate. We got a huge game in Cincinnati. And you talk about ineptitude on offense. It's the Steelers coach. You were talking about change. You were talking about firings. What do you expect now from the Steelers offense moving forward?
Well, Eddie Faulkner and Mike Sullivan will both be on the sideline with Mike Sullivan calling the plays. Bottom line is this. Kenny Pickett's been too risk-averse. He's been afraid to make mistakes. I see them opening up the offense. That may be running the ball with play action and encouraging Kenny to throw the ball down the field. See it and rip it. As Phil Simms always says, it's not a game of perfection. They'd rather see him go ahead and take some chances right now because right now he's too afraid of making mistakes.
All right, you talk about change. Jake Browning takes over for the Bengals. This will be his first start. He's the first Bengals starter to start his career against the Cincinnati Bengals since 1992 when David Klinger did it. You were there. I was there.
Yes.
And David Klinger got sacked 11 times. Hopefully that's not going to be the case for Jake Browning today. Take a look at these AFC North standings, Coach. This is essentially a playoff game. Loser, I think, to me, is probably out of it. The Bengals, without Joe Burrow, in a lot of trouble right now. Let's go over to Nate and Phil.
All right, Buccaneers and Colts, but let's take a look at the NFC South. Here's the standings, and look at Tampa right in the thick of it. I mean, it might not look like a competitive division, but here's the thing. These next few games will matter. And Baker Mayfield has been playing, as Coach mentioned, well on the road. 10 touchdowns, just 2 interceptions. He's going to be looking for Mike Evans early and often, who's 220 yards away from having another 10th consecutive 1,000-yard season.
Yep, he is a good player. The AFC South, everybody just talks about Jacksonville and Houston. How about this team, Indianapolis? You're 5-5. You're always in the race when you have a good offensive line and a good defensive line. Gardner Minshew, I can say this, plays well, moves around the pocket. He's exciting because we don't know exactly what we're going to get sometimes from him, but that's okay. But, you know, the other thing is, too, just talking about their offense, but the defense.
Yeah.
You know, DeForest Buckner, he's the guy that leads this defense. Odangbo doing really well. Kwity Paye. That's why this game's going to be exciting, and I think it's going to be tough on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I'm here for the Minshew Mania, that's for sure. All right, here's a reminder. Join young Dylan and yours truly to find out who joins Trevor Lawrence in taking home the slimiest trophy in sports, the MVP. Tap in to NFL Slime Time every Wednesday night at 7:30 Eastern on Nickelodeon and available on Paramount Plus on Thursday. And there is Trevor Lawrence. He is the only QB in the NFL with 2 pass TDs, 2 rush TDs, and 0 turnovers in the game. My man has been cooking.
Coming up on the NFL Today, one of the best receivers in the NFL sits down with the best receiver on our crew. You don't want to miss it when Nate catches up with Eagles standout A.J. Brown. The playoff race is heating up. And Kyle Brandt heads into the kitchen to see which contenders can cook up some big wins today. And on Thanksgiving weekend, Steelers defensive stars T.J. Watt and Cam Hayward discuss giving back to their communities and the perks of being from talented football families. All that and more when the NFL Today returns on CBS, home of Super Bowl 58.
And kickoff is right around the corner, which means it's time now for our Week 12 FanDuel Best Bets. Boom and Phil, take it away.
All right, JB, look, we got a massive game in Philadelphia. Each of these teams' playmakers are going to show up, I believe, high scoring. I'm going to take Stephon Diggs to score a touchdown for the Bills, and I do think the Eagles try to pound the ball, so give me DeAndre Swift to score as well.
Okay, Boomer, good job by you. Here are my picks for what I think will be a high-scoring game in Houston today. Give me Calvin Ridley to score for the Jaguars and Nico Collins to score score a touchdown today for the Texans.
You actually said something nice to me today. I like that. All right, score this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. That's $150 if your team wins. FanDuel is the official partner of the NFL. Nate.
Let's look at Perfect Pairs presented by Pepsi, where we highlight the best duos of the week.
Y'all know what time it is.
Hurts. Touchdown, A.J. Brown. It's one for the highlight reel. You cannot throw a football better than that. What a great combination, this quarterback and this unbelievable wide receiver. Just spectacular. In the city, they love me.
Now, there's no doubt that Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown have become a perfect pair for the Eagles. And this week, I caught up with Philly star wideout to get his thoughts on his quarterback, his coach, and who he thinks is the best receiver in the game today.
The people's champ. What's up, baby? Appreciate you doing it, man. Yes, sir.
Hurts goes into the end zone. Touchdown, A.J. Brown. Just get it in the vicinity of this guy, and he makes plays.
Let's cut right to it. Is A.J. Brown the best receiver in the game?
We starting off hot.
We starting off hot, baby. Come on.
We starting off hot. You know, I would like to think so, but you know, it's always work that I always can improve, and it's always stuff that I can get better at.
There's one part of your game that separates you from even the great contested catches. When the ball is in the air, what's going through your mind?
It's always a hand fight. If I can just get my hand above the DB's hand, I'm free. And the thing is, he doesn't know where the ball is. I know where the ball is every single time. As soon as I'm faced with a challenge, is let's go.
I wanted to show you a play, and I want you to kind of break down what didn't work in this. Y'all trying to do what LeBron and Wade did.
Yeah.
What's going on?
The alley-oop was a bit at shoulder level.
Oh, it was the oop.
You gotta work on your oop. And I'm not LeBron James. And he is like, LeBron James would have caught it. My name is Arthur Jawan Brown. That's not my name.
What a great combination, this quarterback and this unbelievable wide receiver.
What is it like playing with a guy like Jalen? You known him for some time. Seem like you guys are more brothers and teammates.
Oh, man, it's been amazing. Just how he handles everything. Just a true professional.
No doubt.
You know, so I'm extremely proud of him.
Now, people are always interested in seeing you on the sideline. Is what we see passion or is it pouting?
I think that's a good question because, you know, sometimes temper flares, but after that, it's over with. It's done.
Yeah.
You know, and it had been many times that Jalen has yelled at me, and I sit there and took it.
Yeah.
And you know, unfortunately, they keep catching me. You know, but we have those uncomfortable conversations because of what we want to accomplish. And like, you can't sugarcoat if you're really trying to be great.
I played 11 years, never got close to a Super Bowl. What was it like to play in the biggest game and to lose?
You know, you work hard for something, and sometimes you're not gonna get the outcome that you wanted. Right. But that don't mean you can sit up and pout and, you know, mope around. You know, you have to get off the mat. And but that game just it left a deep feeling that hopefully I get another opportunity to not feel that again.
AJ, aren't you glad you played in Philadelphia?
Nick Sirianni, he seems like a coach that approaches this game with passion. What are you laughing for?
I think the stuff he does is just hilarious.
like what? Like what?
Like what he did to the Chiefs fans. I mean, he's serious when he has to be.
Yeah.
He wants to talk noise. Like he always tells us, do it within the rules. And that's the same thing he's going to do. He's going to do it within the rules.
And the last thing I'll ask as we sit here in Philadelphia is, where do I go to get the best Philly cheesesteak? We can save it for off camera.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, all right, bet.
Let's do that.
Now, for the record, he did tell me where to go get a good Philly cheesesteak, and it was delicious. One thing he did say when it comes to football is that it is Super Bowl or bust for the Eagles. And here at CBS, we can't wait to see if it will be the Philadelphia Eagles representing the NFC in the Super Bowl in Las Vegas. All right, JB, over to you.
All right, Nate, so let's take a look at the playoff picture in the NFC. The Bucks, Falcons, and Rams, and Packers all on the outside looking in, while Seattle, Minnesota, and Dallas, they're parked in the wild card slots. The Saints, Lions, and Niners, they're leading their respective divisions. And, of course, the 9-1 Eagles are currently kings of the conference.
Yeah, when you look at that Philadelphia defense, Sean Desai in his first year has them playing very well. Number one against the run, third in pressures, and they don't give up big plays, JB. You can see they're fourth right there with 25-plus yard plays. When you watch them up front, it's about the run defense. Watch right here, their defense run. It's gap integrity, but watch their arms. The extension of the arms allows them to get off blocks. They have the right fits. They know their responsibilities are, and that's why, right, it's very hard to muster anything in the running game. Pass rush-wise, you have Riddick and Sweat on the outside, and inside you got Carter and Cox. It's the push in the middle. It's their off the edge. Nowhere for a quarterback to step up. They're very, very good, and I love this. You know what this is? This is called tackling. It's called about angles with conviction. Here we go. Zach Cunningham, Kevin Byard. I have conviction, I have angles, and I come with an attitude. They like to tackle. They get after you up front. Love watching these guys play defense, and you know what, Boom? They're complementary to their offense.
They really are. And a great pickup with Kevin Byard, by the way.
Yes.
You know what? You know what else is a great pickup by these guys? How about DeAndre Swift in the backfield? That's why I took him on the FanDuel bet scheme, because I know that he's going to probably score a couple touchdowns today. The one thing I also love about Jalen Hurts is that he's keeping it real. He knows that his team has not played their best game yet, and they are right now in the meat of their schedule. Buffalo today. Next week, they got the 49ers at home, and then they go to Dallas. So a lot of things can happen here over the next 3 weeks for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Was the film room with Bill Good angles with convictions?
Yes.
Boom, I'm loving it. Hey, folks, and in the AFC, Miami is currently holding court that atop the conference, followed by Baltimore, Kansas City, and Jacksonville. In the wild card spot sit the Browns, Texans, and Steelers, while Denver, Cincinnati, and Indianapolis, as well as Buffalo, remain in the hunt for more on the Bills. Let's get it over to Phil and Nate.
Yeah, in that 2 o'clock window, we have the Bills and the Eagles. When talking to A.J. Brown, I'd mentioned that this Bills team is a desperate team, but it's also a very dangerous one. And he said, we will not take these guys for granted. They are going to go out there and play their best football, at least try to.
Yeah, well, look, last week, Joe Brady made calling the plays for the Buffalo Bills for the first time. And immediately when you watch the game, I could see the difference.
Yeah.
More movement by the offense, guys in motion, everything like that. QB runs, which they need to do with Josh Allen. Play action passes. Josh Allen is made to play action pass. He's big. He can fire down the field with ease. And then I like this, too. Also, they brought in Shakir and Hardy, 2 wide receivers, gave them more speed, Nate. I thought it was a big difference.
Yeah, another game in that 425 window. We have the Chiefs and the Raiders. There's a lot of fuss about these wide receivers dropping the ball, Phil.
Hey, and then, is Patrick Mahomes going to lose faith in him? No, he's going to throw it to the open guy. That's what you do. Read the defense and go with. But here's the one that got everybody going crazy. Valdez-Scantling drops that deep pass that could have won the game. But let's be honest here. When we look at what the Chiefs offense did, they turned it over twice going in to score.
Yeah.
That's what really cost them the game. And I got to say this, too, just for creativity part, I think they missed Eric Bieniemy.
I agree with you with that. And they brought back McCole Hardman. He's been there for about a month. Maybe they utilize him a little bit more. All right, with kickoff just about a half hour away, it's time to set the scene at your game as we take you out first on the field, presented by FedEx for the latest news and updates on your matchup.
The roof is closed in Houston as we get set for a big one in the AFC between the Jaguars and Texans. And hi, everyone. Alongside Matt Ryan and Tiki Barber, I'm Andrew Catalan. This is arguably the Texans' biggest home game in 4 years, and a big reason why the play of C.J. Stroud this season.
Yeah, and I don't think it can be overstated how well he's played as a young rookie in his first 10 games. To me, the thing that strikes me is when he throws the football over the middle of the field. He throws it with touch, he throws it with timing and in anticipation, but he's also able to get outside the pocket and be able to push the ball down the field vertically, and it helps to have a rookie like Tank Dell Jr. to be out there doing it. I mean, this guy is explosive. He can make moves when the ball's in his hands on short passes. He can go stretch the field vertical. He can make plays. He's going to make it very difficult on this Jaguars defense to be able to stop the Texans.
Yeah, and this Jaguars defense still reeling from week 3 when they lost to the Houston Texans at home. Know that they have to get in the backfield and disrupt C.J. Stroud. It's going to be the task of Josh Allen, who leads the team with 9.5 sacks. They got to also stop the run. run. The last couple of weeks, the Houston Texans have been better running the football with Devin Singletary. Offensively for the Jacksonville Jaguars, though, Travis Etienne, this is my guy. I always love running backs that can do it all. He's second in the NFL in all-purpose yardage right now, and he's had some pretty good games against the Houston Texans in previous iterations. So Travis Etienne is going to be relied upon, also with Calvin Ridley, who has a great relationship developing with Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, developing. I mean, they've been together for a long time, and I think Trevor's going to rely on Etienne in that run game to be able to develop some of those throws down the field to Calvin Ridley that you mentioned. To me, his strength is pushing the ball down the field vertically. I think he's finally got a guy in Calvin Ridley that he can use that way. I expect Trevor Lawrence to play well today.
Should be a good one. Can't wait for kickoff. We'll see you then. But after the break, we'll send you back to the NFL Today.
Time now for Pregame HQ delivered by Domino's. Now, you can't help but to be impressed by C.J. Stroud. The rookie QB has been cooking all year long, and his Texans seem hungry for a postseason berth. But now it's time to see who can eat down the stretch. And no one knows that better than America's favorite chef, Kyle Brandt.
This time of year, the NFL is just like a kitchen. It's chaos. Get the right ingredients together, get them quick, get them hot, get them on the playoff plate, or get out of here. Now, this is my place, Shea FC, where there is a very, very thin line between Iron Chef and the off-season. Let's see what they get. Chef, you're ready already?
Yes, Chef.
All right, normally I like to let it marinate a little more before I taste it, but let's give it a try. That is good. That is scary good.
Thank you, Chef.
This is classic Texas barbecue. Hot, messy as hell. Sometimes Carolina style is shockingly better. But the best barbecue is always made by some dudes named Tank, Motor, and CJ. Nice job, Chef. Now here we have one of my favorite chefs. How are we?
Thank you, Chef.
Excellent. Let me give it a taste right here. It's pretty good. It's not great. The flavor doesn't kick in until the last second, and even then it's not enough. But I'll give you a positive. You're not serving all that maple syrup and poutine anymore. That Canadian cuisine just wasn't working. But you're too good of a chef for this. Be better, all right? Until then, I'm going to do what you can't, which is pass. I can't even look at you. No, I'm not tasting it. You're way too talented of a chef. Get out of here. You still work here?
Yes, Chef.
And you want me to taste this?
Yes, Chef.
You want me to taste your food? All right, I'll taste your food. You want to know how this tastes? You want to know? I'll show you how it tastes. It's like that. See, it is possible to throw something and not have it intercepted. Do you remember when you had 6 Michelin stars because you had a Michigan star?
Yes, Chef.
I don't. So do what you swear you're against and take a day off. Take 5. Get out of here.
Sorry, Chef.
Now we're talking. I've been having my eye on you. Let me get a taste of this. I cannot wait. This one's interesting. You know what? It starts out terribly, but it comes on strong, and that aftertaste is awesome. Maybe we ought to let you cook, because lately you've been tasting better than KC baby backs and buffalo wings. And I like that little flash of New Orleans Creole at the end. Can I get some more of that?
Yes, Chef.
You're a saint. And here we are. Chefs, listen up. Welcome to the stretch run. The Great British Bake Off has nothing on the Great American Playoffs. Lock in, ball out, dig down, orders up.
Yes,
You know what? I'm actually hearing that Kyle's Chef FC is one of the hottest spots in town. So why don't we take a look at the menu and see what we like? Phil, what about your AFC dish?
Well, JB, all I know is you've been saying, hey, can I eat that when this is over?
Absolutely, I sure have.
My dish, it's the Baltimore Ravens. And it's not about the offense, it's about the defense. They lead, we got some crab cakes here, too, in case you want some. But they lead the NFL in sacks without a premier pass rusher. They got 14 different players that have got to the quarterback. That tells me a lot. It tells me how well their coach, Mike McDonald, the defensive coordinator, getting it done. Matt BK and Jadeveon Clowney, 15 sacks. And then I think the other one, I'm watching TV one day, and there's Kyle Van Noy. And then the following week, he's sacking quarterbacks for the Baltimore Ravens. So pretty good job.
Well, I have the Kansas City ribs right here, and I think when you look at this with the salad, I think you see right now a team that maybe more defense, because they are top 5 defense, sacks, yards, points, and offensively, I have a lot of faith in Andy Reid. Andy Reid sees ribs, he's going to figure out what sauce needs to go on there. I don't have anything on there right now, because you know what? I'm going to adapt, I'm going to adjust. I trust Patrick Mahomes. He's been turning the football over, not very good in the red zone, but you know what? Maybe a little red sauce will help them in the red zone. So I think that's Andy. That's my suggestion to you. I believe in Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes.
All right, so I'm going with a nice fish, and everybody knows that you can do some good fishing down in Miami. You got your head chef, which is Tua Tagovailoa. You have your sous chef, which is Tyreek Hill, and then you have a waiter in Jalen Ramsey. And by waiter, I mean he just basically waits on quarterbacks to make the wrong decision, and he picks them off. And this fish is delicious. This is not a catfish. By the way, it could be a dogfish because they got that dog in them. And they also have a play caller, Mike McDaniel, whose sole purpose is to dial up big players.
Purpose. Yeah, he's like the maitre d'.
There you go.
Say, right? So here's
What
the
do
deal.
you have?
I have waffles, and the reason I have waffles is because I have the Jaguars, and this is, Trevor Lawrence loves the Waffle House, and you know what? He has a Super Bowl winning coach in Doug Peterson that has changed his whole career path. Today is a huge game for him and Travis Etienne. Their defense going against C.J. Stroud is doing what he's doing. Today we're going to find out just how tasty these waffles are for the Jaguars.
Wait, JB, where's your food at, man?
Well, I'm supposed to put a button on this. Don't you think this is a setup? Nate, go ahead. I know you got something to say.
Man, listen, that's not what you eat around here. Here you go. Big plates. Big chocolate.
There you go.
We know how you like to eat.
There you go. There you go.
There is Trevor Lawrence. That's not right, JB. Trevor Lawrence hasn't played well against the Texans. But right now, this is the time when the AFC South is on the line.
Y'all think I'm kidding.
The NFL Today is sponsored by WeatherTech. Auto, home, pet. Find your fit at WeatherTech.com. Little Caesars, the official pizza sponsor of the NFL. Pizza. And by Jeep. There's only one.
So earlier this week in Pittsburgh, our CBS cameras paid a visit to the Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank, which serves over 42 million meals annually to people in 11 counties in southwestern PA. Members of the Steelers were there, including Cam Hayward and TJ Watt, helping families in need as they picked up food for the Thanksgiving holiday. Then after the event, Cam and TJ sat down and reflected on the day and much more.
What's up, everybody? Cam Hayward here, TJ Watt over there. We are here at the Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank. We got a chance to hand out some turkeys and some other groceries. TJ, what do you think about the event so far?
It's awesome. This is the second year I've been able to do it with you, and I'm just very thankful that you've shown me how to give back, especially in the city of Pittsburgh, and to be able to see the reactions of the people, especially after a tough game like we just had. Yeah. It adds a little bit of joy to the day and makes you want to continue to give back.
But let's talk about that tough game.
Steelers have won all of these close games this season until today.
You have to have a short memory, whether it's a win or loss in the NFL. And I mean, you know more than anybody, but...
Was that a dig on me? I would know more than anybody because I've been here the longest?
15, 16, 17 years.
Hey, chill out, bro. It's not that.
You can see by the gray in the beard, he's got some stories. As a wise old fella like yourself, how do you handle the adversity?
Don't get too high, don't get too low.
All right. Stop the cliche. How do you really feel?
How do I really feel?
How do you really?
I'm mad all the time.
There we go.
Congratulations on the Brother Bowl, man.
For me and you, we got a chance to play with our brothers. What's it like being part of such a football family in the NFL?
It's all I know, and I'm sure that's how it is for you, too. The cool thing when Derek was here for those 3 years was the little conversations. To have someone that sees things the way that I see things, to be able to have those conversations is really special. And it's been really cool to see you and Connor's relationship, too. I just want to tell you right here, right now, like, it goes by so fast.
Yeah.
To really just, like, cherish that moment, because, like, I do miss having Derek here, and it's so special you guys still have that time.
I like being at home. We're on the road, but we at home. Last year, when we played in Atlanta, where I grew up and Connor grew up, we got a chance to go to my dad's grave, and then, we played in the Falcons game, and I get a sack on one drive. Then the next drive, Connerly gets a touchdown.
What a catch! Connor Hayward, the first of his career.
It felt like one of those moments. And then after the game, seeing that was how my dad scored his first touchdown, and I was like, man.
That's how he scored it?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So, it kind of threw me for a loop. And I remember during the game, I was crying.
Oh, yeah.
Those moments, they're so uncanny that you appreciate those moments more than ever.
That's cool your little brother scored here today.
Man, why you gotta bring it up now? Why you gotta bring it up now?
Get them ready to take the field every series.
Take the field! We
do you think about Coach Tomlin and his Tomlinisms?
Everybody should be able to sit in those meetings once in their life because they are incredible. It doesn't matter if it's a meeting before a game or a meeting on a Tuesday in the off season. They are incredible meetings, and you always leave with some sort of notes in your notebook.
Don't blink ever. Cut your eyelids off. I saw a couple of y'all blinking though, for real. I'll talk to you about it.
8 pounds in a 5-pound bag. Cut your eyelids off. Fine line between squishing grapes and making wine.
It's a fine line between, drinking wine and squashing grapes.
What's your favorite one?
We need an A-player game.
A-player? Everybody in there.
Yeah. And I don't think there's anybody in our room that doesn't think they're an A-player in that moment.
As it should be.
But I love it. It prepares you for the game. And it makes the meeting kind of short when he goes that route.
That's true. I'm going to keep it brief. That's one of them, too. Never breathe.
Never breathe.
And we definitely like to thank Cam and TJ, and of course, the good folks at the Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank for all that they do in the fight against hunger.
Yeah, TJ Watt, Cam Hayward, Minka Fitzpatrick, these are absolutely team leaders that you have in this football team. And, they're going through a very frustrating time right now. And I think the lightning rod of Matt Canada has now been taken off. Now the onus goes on the field to the players. And so you're sitting there looking at it, try to do what they do best. I think getting back to the running game for Kenny Pickett, he's got to let it loose and let him play. And don't be afraid to make mistakes. And that's why you see Faulkner and Sullivan, play caller, OC, will be on the field.
Coach, I got to tell you, you're right. I want to see the difference right away in this offense. The first drive of the game, show us something different. Make it easier for Kenny Pickett. Don't make it like, oh, you got to make the perfect read, make the throw. Man, you can't do that every play of a game as an NFL quarterback. Boomer and I were talking about this. Boomer says he wants 10 automatic completions from the coaches. You got to have more movement, can they stack the receivers? I don't think I've ever seen a receiver stacked one time this year.
Yeah, and given the injuries that Cincinnati has been dealing with, this is a game that they're supposed to win. The veterans on this team, they look at the squad and say, we have to win this game because we should. But be careful, though, because Jake Browning is ready for the opportunity. This is what he said this week. He said, it took 4 years and damn near a life sentence on the practice squad. It took 4 years of doubling down. Eventually, I'll get an opportunity. He's ready for his opportunity.
He played 54 games in college at the University of Washington, so he's used to throwing the football. I actually thought he played pretty good last week when he went in for Joe Burrow. But this guy right here, Joe Mixon, he's going to be the heartbeat of this offense. No T. Higgins once again. And by the way, Coach and I were talking about this. Normally, we'd be at each other's throats because of this game. It lacks the luster because of the change in Pittsburgh and because the fact that Joe Burrow is not playing. So I just hope that Jake Browning has a good experience as opposed to the experience that you and I both witnessed back in 1992 for David Klingler, where he got sacked 11 times against that 34 configuration.
And there's been a lot of talk in the locker room. I think Jaylen Warren, you're going to see a little bit more of him. He's proven the right to get a chance to have more opportunities. And Najee can be a great closer for them. And Deontay Johnson, he's frustrated. But you know what? When your receivers are frustrated and losing is happening, I don't think that's always a bad thing. We take everything to heart. And I think you're doing last week, Minka Fitzpatrick got into him, said, listen, cool it. You're going after the coach, cool it. Right now, the coaches are on the sideline. They're going to have a feel for it. And I agree with you, Phil. Doing some things differently, making it easier and more simple right now for Kenny Pickett is the answer.
All right. Loud and clear. All right, folks, it is a tight race at the top of our NFL Today pick standings, and now it's time for upset specials. Everybody keeps aiming at Coach Cower.
Yeah.
What do you mean aiming at him? Oh, because he's leading?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's only just a matter of time. We're going down. I'm taking the Atlanta Falcons over the New Orleans Saints.
I'm taking Arizona and Kyler Murray over the Los Angeles Rams.
Aiming at him because that chin is an easy target. Listen, I think Baker Mayfield is going to play well. He's been doing it on the road this year. I got Tampa over Indy.
I put a lot of thought into this.
What do you
got? But you are actually last.
I am in last place. It's all right. I'm taking Tommy DeVito.
Okay.
That's what I'm doing for the Patriots.
Folks, we will see you back here for halftime. But first, as we all know, with kickoff, even though Phil is only 2 games back, with kickoff just a few minutes away,
we will get you out to your game next.
The NFL Today on CBS is presented by Jeep. There's only one.
And welcome back to the NFL Today. And now Amazon takes you out to the sights and sounds of the game between the Jaguars and the Texans. Let's get you out to Houston with our announcers, Andrew Catalan, Tiki Barber, Matt Ryan, and A.J. Ross.
JB, It's one of the best games on the Week 12 schedule. First place in the AFC South is on the line as the Texans host the Jaguars. Here's a look at the playoff picture in the AFC. Jacksonville, one of 4 division leaders, but the Texans are only 1 game behind. Hi, everyone. Alongside Matt Ryan and Tiki Barber, I'm Andrew Catalan. A.J. Ross joins us on the sidelines. It's been a while since the Texans have played a big game in this building, but you can feel the energy around this city right now. And Tiki, it all starts with C.J. Stroud.
It does start with C.J. Stroud. He's been phenomenal down here in NRG Stadium. But C.J. was a phenomenal draft pick because of his leadership, because of his poise, because of his ability to make big plays. Already almost 3,000 yards, 17 touchdowns, and only 5 interceptions. 3 of those came in 1 game. But he rebounds from any negativity, and he consistently gets his players involved and gets them feeling excited, especially his fellow rookie wide receiver, Tank Dell, who last week against Arizona had 149 yards. In the Week 3 matchup, he also had over 100-plus yards. He has been the most dynamic player for this team because he has so much speed, he can separate in his route running.
Every week, you talk a lot about the running backs, and I know you like this guy, Devin Singletary.
Devin Singletary. He's been fantastic these last couple of weeks. 262 yards is the most in the NFL over the last couple of weeks, and he does things so well. It's simple, too. Running the football is easy in the NFL, especially against loaded boxes. They get the 8th most or 5th most loaded boxes in the NFL. But here's Devin Singletary riding the wave of the block. He gets into the hole, and then he lowers his shoulder and gets extra yards. 2nd and 3, so much better than 2nd and long. But it all starts with their head coach, DeMeco Ryan, who is the perfect hire for this Houston Texans organization that needed a remake. They needed a refresh. And as a young, black, defensive-minded head coach, he's done an unbelievable job of getting this team believing in themselves.
As for Jacksonville, a big bounce-back game a week ago against Tennessee. And, Matt, that was Trevor Lawrence's best game of the season.
I agree with you. I thought he looked comfortable last week. And to me, he's at his best when he does 3 things. Number 1, get the ball out of your hand quickly. He does this well, and it helps the offensive line. Number 2, push the ball down the field vertically. He's got a strong arm and a dynamic receiver to go do it. And then number 3 is use your legs. Whether it's extending the play in the pocket or getting outside of the pocket, scrambling for first downs, running for touchdowns, he's explosive when he does it. I think the difference maker for this Jacksonville Jaguars offense has been Calvin Ridley. He's been inconsistent at times, but he can stretch the field vertically. He's an explosive player. On the opposite side of the ball, I'm excited to watch Foye Oluokun play today. He's got his work cut out for him. Number 1 objective for this defense is to make C.J. Stroud uncomfortable. He's going to have to do a good job blitzing today, but he's also going to have to be in coverage. C.J. Stroud does an excellent job throwing the ball over the middle. These linebackers have to play well.
AJ, what are the coaches saying about this divisional showdown?
Andrew, the hope and hype surrounding this AFC South showdown has been resounding, but DeMeco Ryan's told his Texans do not make this game bigger than it is. He says they need to focus on the details that have allowed them to win their last 6 of 8 games. Meanwhile, for the Jags, Doug Peterson told his team they haven't done anything yet, despite being the defending AFC South champs. He says they need to think bigger, and that starts by being in the present, trusting their scheme, and being more consistent if they want to keep their undefeated road streak and postseason hopes alive, guys.
AJ, thank you. We can't wait for this one. Big game from Houston, and kickoff is coming up. You're watching the NFL on CBS.